there we go. So, Melissa, are you there?
I'm here.
Awesome. So just to let everybody know, we do have 5 presenters today. We have 2 of them that are in the office with us here in London, Ontario. And Melissa is joining us from the Toronto area. And Melissa was diagnosed with a hemangioblastomma in 2011 and is the author of the book Day by Day and the creator of Day by Day Hats for Hope, and is also a public speaker. And we're really excited to have you here with us, Melissa. So it's all yours, my friend.
Woo-hoo! Thank you so much. I'd just like to say, first off, thank you so much, Janik, and the team at the Brain Tumor Foundation of Canada. I absolutely love this kind of thing, just to help other people around when it comes to the brain tumor survivors and thrivers too, mind you. So I'd like to start off by sharing the title, and that is, I won the lottery. I will share with you exactly what Janik said. So my diagnosis, my treatment, confused punishment of what that means, coping, and some tips to leave that with you. So, and of course it's not working.
Just click your mouse for a second, Melissa, and then should advance for you. There you go.
Okay, so starting off, so I was told, Melissa, you won the lottery of brain tumors by my doctor, Dr. Mueller. And what he meant by that is that I had a very rare type of brain tumor. I had a hemangioblastomma. So what that means, it's very rare. So there are over 100 different types of brain tumors, and I ended up having the rarest kind, 2% of all brain tumors. It's located at the back of the head of the skull, and it controls your balance. Now, another thing to do with why I won the lottery is because of also the rarity of that, but also the fact that the brain tumor that I had at the back of my head, it actually, theory is that it broke off, traveled all the way down my spine to my tailbone, and slowly started to grow. So I had chronic pain for a few horrible years, and to explain the pain, it was as if a cigarette was being put out on my tailbone. Yeah. Oh, and that's 7 people in the whole world that has happened to. So rare indeed. The effects of surgery. So with the brain tumor being removed back in 2011, what happened was, because it was at the back of my head with my balance, it also affected my walking. So I actually had to learn how to walk again. The right side of my body became uncoordinated, so I was unable to walk once again because of my right leg until I learned how to walk again. It was like 6 months later, something like that. Another thing too is my right hand, I was unable to use that to write, put on makeup, play my guitar, all that kind of thing. Luckily, I was able to give the middle finger. Sorry. So yeah, so I had to stick with being left-handed. The other thing I do too with the effects of surgery is on my left side, during surgery, I actually had a stroke. And that affected the nerve damage on the left side of my body. So I'm a little bit more numb on my left side. It's nothing you can see visual. So when it comes to colder, damp days, or as all of you know, anybody who has Alzheimer's, and of course, the brain surgery and all that can do it as well, is you get that pain, and that's what it's from. Treatment, there was so much that I just decided to write it down there at the bottom. So that is 2011 I had the surgery, 2013 I had the tailbone, 2013 again I also had to have the tailbone surgery. And the reason why they tried to do the radiation first is because doing surgery, I was at risk of having permanent bladder, bowel, and mobility issues, because that's where all the nerves are. So awesomely enough, knock on wood, everything is good for that. And then because the brain tumor, contaminated the back of my tailbone, like what do you call it, the cord that going all the way down. What happened was that contaminated my spinal cord. That's the word, spinal cord. So I had more tumors that actually came up. So what we ended up doing was the full head and spine radiation. When it comes to the prognosis, we don't know, and I don't want to talk about it. So you just gotta live day by day. Confused punishment. This is something you may not have heard about. I kind of came up with it because I had a hard time explaining that I was thinking to myself, why am I being punished? Is it because of having this brain tumor? And that's pretty much what it was. I saw on Facebook, there was this meme, and it was, I got so drunk last night that when I walked across the dance floor, I won the dance contest. And I laugh every time I see it. So this reminds me of confused punishment, the opposite side, where the intentions, that was not the intention. So for example, physical, the very first one there, when I remember it was about 6 months after the surgery, and I'm walking and I'm swaying back and forth. I walk around the block and I'm sweating and I'm breathing intensely and this kind of thing. This woman who was walking behind me, she decided to pass me, and as she passed me, she turned around and she gave me a dirty look. Why? Because she thought that I was drinking. So here I am, make sure that my mouth is closed so I don't bite my tongue if I were to fall and this kind of thing. And that's the confused punishment that I get. It's a dirty look for learning to walk again. So then another example for confused punishment when it comes to intellectual, I think we all are very familiar when it comes to memory loss, any other kind of aphasia. So for example, I would always forget to water my plants, and I kill my plants. I still do. But one way that I tried to remember is to call every Wednesday, so I call it Water Wednesdays. Awesome, right? Yes. The thing is that I put that in my agenda to Water Wednesdays, and then when I saw that, I couldn't remember why I wrote that, and I actually had an anxiety attack because I didn't know why. And then, of course, this is something Janet and I know the Brain Tumor Foundation did a lovely, so we're all going to talk about it, and that is the word benign. Yeah, you know what? I did have a benign brain tumor, but you know what? It wasn't gentle. It wasn't kindly, and yeah, it was definitely harmful. So that's something we're going to look at, and I know that's something that we're going to talk about in the future. Before I share with you how do I cope, I wanted to ask you, how do you cope? That's what's most important. You got to learn. You have to relearn yourself again. Once you know how you cope, it might help. For me personally, support group. I feel too much of how that person is feeling, that it upsets me, versus if somebody were me one-to-one, I think I would be able to handle it more. So anyway, yes, I did. I wrote a book called Day by Day, and that just talks about my journey to okay, so my sense of humor, that is probably the #1 thing that has got me through everything. So I came up with a joke. What do you call 50 kinky horses with brain tumors? 50 Shades of Grey. Get it? Okay. So I also do artwork. I just love drawing and that kind of thing. And here is done with like a watercolor pencil crayon, and a friend of mine worked at a bar, so he gave me the plastic things that go on, like liquor bottles, and then they're small. So that's how I do it. Another thing, so like Janique said, unfortunately they don't do the conference anymore, but one thing that I absolutely love to do, I did this for a couple of years, and that is Day by Day's Hats for Hope. So I collected handmade knit, crochet, and fabric hats, and I was able to give them out to you lovely people. So awesome. This was Canada-wide. It just hundreds and hundreds of people who did this. We ended up collecting about 1,500 hats in 2 years. Very cool. The way that I get around is by, I can't drive, so I have this 3-wheel bike. So awesome. I'm so grateful for this. This definitely helps me. It also helps me in the sense where there's a horn there, so I can honk that, and I can definitely embarrass of whoever is working or whatever. I can honk outside of their work. Another thing that I'm just absolutely beaming about, something I've been getting into more so is public speaking. So here's a picture of me, I don't know, 5 years ago, speaking at the Activity Professionals of Ontario. I was the keynote speaker. This was my passion of working in long-term care for seniors. And although I was unable to continue working, this was still a way that I could give back and do what I wanted to do. Toastmasters is public speaking that I'm involved with. Tips, I would like to, in conclusion, I'd like to leave you with a few tips here for you to take note of. One is to get to know and accept the new you. This was very difficult for me. It took me a few years for this one. Yeah, getting to know the new me, getting to know the new normal is that there is no normal. Is that I was very self-aware beforehand, and now not so much. So if I get any inkling of a pain or bruise or anything like that, symptom, my mind goes wild, and I don't know. And then when it comes to accept the new you, you really got to embrace yourself. I'm talking to all of you, everyone. You got to accept the new you of who you are and just make the best of it. You are your best advocate and worst enemy. This is very true. When it comes to the best advocate, the only one more powerful for your best advocate would actually be Mama Bear. If you have like an angry, a mother who's angry at like a doctor or healthcare provider, she's your lady. Worst enemy, of course, I deal with this every day. And I think a lot of us do, and that is thoughts that get in my head. Like if I'm lying down right before bed and I'm thinking, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens with that? Yeah. So just remember that you are your best advocate and you are your worst enemy. Something that I have learned at a young age, and that is don't wait for opportunity. You need to create one. That has been key for me. Sure, you're going to have, when you work hard and that kind of thing, you're going to have opportunities presented to you. Like for me to speak I'm just completely thrilled to speak here at this, for this webinar for the Brain Tumor Foundation of Canada. In the same sense, if there's something that you want to do very badly, if you want to get involved with something, whatever, go get it. Go get it. You got to be shameless. You're gonna get no's and all that kind of thing. You just got to persevere and continue on. Finally, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you so much to Jenik and rest of the Brain Tumor Foundation of Canada team, everybody who's listening, all my fellow speakers. Thank you so much to everybody for listening. And you know what? After all of these years, I have to say that I really did win the lottery. After everything that has happened, just you got to yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa. Oh my goodness, that was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us. And I really liked that confused punishment slide that you had. I think it was a really great visual to show people. And thank you for mentioning the word benign. And I'll touch on that right now, actually. So what Melissa was referring to is really here at Brain Tumor Foundation of Canada is that we're really trying to encourage people within our community as well as healthcare professionals across the country to not use the term benign when somebody's diagnosed with a low-grade or a non-malignant brain tumor, because we feel there's nothing benign about having a mass in your control center, right? So for those of you who are on the line, we'll encourage you to do the same thing for yourselves, or if you hear a healthcare professional mention the word benign brain tumor, maybe have a little conversation with them and encourage them to maybe shift their terminology.